Welcome to 100 Years of Advice. Thank you for visiting this quiet study today to lay down the weight of life. Do you still firmly believe in the saying, blood is thicker than water? While it is true that siblings share childhood memories, as we age and our hair turns white, we face a sad reality. The fact is, once parents are gone, siblings are not what they used to be. Is it only during holidays that you meet out of obligation? And even then, does an awkward silence fill the air? Today, we will talk deeply about the essence of sibling relationships that drift apart after parents pass away, and how to maintain a graceful distance without getting hurt. After the funeral is over, we finally realize what held the sibling relationship together was not our brotherly love, but the massive center of gravity called parents. When they were alive, we had to gather as their children, whether we liked it or not. We endured each other's differences because of their eyes and their mediation. But the moment that powerful magnet disappeared, the siblings scattered into their own lives like iron filings, losing their magnetic field. This is no one's fault. It is just a natural phenomenon where satellites without a planet find their own orbits. Yet, we fail to accept this natural separation and resent each other. There is an old saying, siblings are like limbs, hands and feet, and spouses are like clothing. But in your 60s and 70s, this saying becomes the opposite. The spouse, who you thought was clothing, is attached like your own body, and the sibling, who you thought was your body, becomes a stranger like a severed limb. Have you ever hesitated to call your sibling? Have you put down the phone thinking, am I disturbing them? Or, what if they think I'm asking for money again? Your sibling is no longer the child who ate from your bowl. They have become a stranger, with a different family and different values. When parents were around, siblings were branches on one big tree. Because the roots were the same, we shared nutrients and supported each other. But the passing of parents means that those roots are gone. Now, you have become independent trees that must take root in the ground individually. Whether the tree next to you grows well or not is a separate issue from your survival. If you still trap yourself in the thought that we are one root and try to interfere with the branches of the next tree, both trees will eventually tangle and wither. To put it coldly, a married sibling is like a person with dual citizenship. They have the citizenship of the original family like you, but the citizenship of the new family, made up of their spouse and children, takes precedence. Think of islands floating on the sea. On the surface, they look like separate islands, but underwater, the land is connected. Sibling relationships are just like that. The invisible underwater connection, bloodline, may be there, but above the water, reality, we must live like separate islands. If you try to force a bridge to connect, the rough waves will destroy the bridge and only hurt each other. What makes sibling relationships most miserable is ultimately money. It is said that even a saint wavers in front of a parent's inheritance. Even siblings who used to yield to each other calculate every penny and flush with anger in front of a parent's legacy. I should get more because I took care of them. Why does the eldest take everything? They drag out decades-old grievances and fight in the mud. The end of this fight is usually cutting ties. This tragedy of becoming enemies with blood siblings over a few pennies is one of the ugliest sights we can experience in old age. It's not just about money. Conflict between siblings starts from a trivial word or a single glance. As people age, they become sensitive and easily offended. Have you ever said a warm word to me? You didn't even show up when Mom was sick. Memories of the past are edited to suit each other's tastes and become weapons to attack each other. When parents were around, we endured it for their sake. But now there is no reason to endure. We turn our backs on each other and glare with eyes colder than strangers. The hardest thing to endure is subtle comparison and jealousy. There is a saying that you can applaud a friend's success, but a sibling's success gives you a stomachache. This is because the instinct to compete for parental love from childhood remains. I heard your younger brother bought a big apartment. I heard your nephew got a great job. Hearing this news, we congratulate them, but inside, we compare our situation and feel inferior. Conversely, if I do well, I become wary that my siblings might be jealous or ask for financial help. The closer you are, the easier it is to compare, and the more miserable you become. Of course, we had beautiful times. The golden memories of rolling around, sharing a piece of bread, even when we were hungry, playing fearlessly under the shade of our parents. But those memories are beautiful, only when we take them out of the frame occasionally. You should not force current sacrifices by holding past memories hostage. Do not try to justify current rudeness by saying, "What kind of relationship are we?" The past is just the past. We are now elderly people living in a harsh reality. Siblings in childhood were comrades looking at the same place, but siblings in old age are strangers looking at different places. Living environments are different, spouses are different, economic levels are different, and the results of raising children are different. If you do not acknowledge this huge difference and still think we are siblings, so we must be the same, the pain only grows. If you try to forcibly stick the gap in the ground, an earthquake occurs. It is enough to just confirm each other's position, saying, "You are standing there, and I am standing here." So, how can we live with dignity without becoming enemies with our siblings after our parents are gone? The first solution is to completely abandon expectations. Throw away the expectation that he's my older brother, so he'll take care of me, or he's my younger brother, so he'll listen to me. If there are no expectations, there is no disappointment. Even if your sibling forgets your birthday, doesn't come on holidays, or doesn't contact you when you're sick, let it be. There is no such thing as duty because we are siblings. Think of their favors as a bonus, and if there are none, think of it as breaking even. You have to empty your mind to fill the relationship. The second solution is to treat your sibling like a precious guest. We tend to be polite to strangers, but treat siblings carelessly. We use informal language and nag, saying, "Lose some weight," or "Save some money." From now on, treat your sibling like a neighbor. When you meet after a long time, greet them politely, serve them tea, share only good words and part ways. Do not talk about deep feelings, money, or brag about children. If the distance is close, you get pricked by thorns. But if you step back appropriately, you only see each other's beauty. Even between siblings, a fence called formality is needed. Especially, lending money is absolutely forbidden. The moment you lend money to a sibling in need, you lose both the money and the sibling. If you want to help, Give only as much as you can afford without expecting it back. And if a dispute arises over inheritance, rather have the mindset that you will take a little loss. Giving it away, saying, "Let's see how well you live with that money," is 100 times better for your mental health and remaining life. It may seem unfair, but in the long run, that is the way to win. Do not break the peace of your old age by fighting with greedy siblings. The third is not interfering. Keep your mouth shut whether your sibling makes a bad investment, how they raise their nephew, or whether they hold ancestral rights or not. Even if it is different from your thoughts, let it pass, thinking they have their own circumstances. Advice like, "Brother, you shouldn't do that," becomes the spark of a fight. It is said that the most welcomed attitude in old age is to close your mouth and open your wallet. If you have the energy to advise on your sibling's life, use that energy to take care of your health. Indifference is sometimes the greatest consideration. Now is the time to turn your gaze from the outside, siblings, to the inside, your own family. Do not be sad that your siblings have drifted away. You have a spouse who has been with you all your life, and children who grew up watching you. Siblings are the family of the past, but spouses and children are the family of the present and future. Look back to see if you have made your spouse lonely while taking care of your siblings. Spend the money and sincerity you would use for your siblings on your spouse. The person who will bring you a cup of water when you are sick is not your sibling living far away, but the person snoring next to you. Strengthen your own fence. If you cultivate your garden beautifully, people will gather just as butterflies and bees fly in. If I am healthy, economically comfortable, and peaceful in mind, my siblings will naturally respect and seek me out. Conversely, if I am struggling and sick, it is human nature for siblings to find it burdensome and avoid me. Do not try to rely on your siblings, but become a tree that stands on its own. Only a tree that stands alone can form a forest. What is true brotherhood? It is not meeting every day to eat and chat. It is living one's own fierce life and meeting on the anniversary of parents' death far in the future, saying, "You have a lot of white hair too. You worked hard all this time," and having compassion for each other's aging, patting each other on the back without a word and parting ways. That much warmth is enough. Plain compassion rather than sticky affection sustains relationships in old age longer. Do not fear solitude. Siblings leave, friends leave, and eventually we become alone. But that being alone is not loneliness, but freedom. It is my own time with no siblings to notice and no nephews to take care of. Like a seeker walking alone in the forest, learn how to talk to yourself in silence. Books, music, and nature will fill the empty space that siblings could not fill. Sometimes send a very light greeting, not because you have business, but just a text saying, "The weather is cold, be careful not to catch a cold," is enough. Do not be upset if there is no reply. Just think, "I'm glad they are alive." Connect only one thin thread and leave it loose as the wind blows. If you pull it tight, it breaks, but if you leave it loose, it connects forever. That is wise distancing. Dear friends, the reason parents left us siblings was not to be a burden to each other, but to be a comfort just by each other's existence. Do not blame yourself or be sad that you have become strangers. We are voyagers crossing the sea of life in our own boats. We just need to wave from afar and move silently toward our destinations. Say a prayer for your distant sibling tonight and go into your warm blanket and sleep peacefully. 100 years of advice. Sincerely wishes for your old age to be peaceful and quiet.